for various reasons, I think Ribera del Duero has a little bit of a reputation of not being able to have this kind of elegance, of being more about
Yes.
power.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the story that they were telling.
That's not the story they were telling. That was the example of the wines that hit big and hit early,
So
and that made the name.
So those are the wines that were recognized by critics as
Exactly. They were the first ones out of the gate, and I appreciate that style. And some of them are incredibly beautiful wines, but Ribera can be so much more than just that one style. And in a way, it kind of did a disservice to the region to think this is all they do. It's like thinking all California can do are those big, flabby Cabernets. There's a lot of beautiful wine in California that didn't get put up there as this is the California style.
Sure, absolutely.
And so Ribera kind of, not as bad as California did, but kind of hit there. And that's what we've done, is try to bring in those other styles and highlight how good those the first styles are, because they're beautiful, but they fit into a pattern.
Yeah, you need
some
gateway
Yeah.
wines. I mean, I think that's
Exactly.
The Rosados are a fantastic addition to the portfolio, because
yeah.
they not only give people the message that it's not just big, dark red wines.
Exactly.
They have a variety of wines, but they also let people taste at
Yeah.
$15 and get an idea of what Tempranillo does in the region.
This is a great wine to sit and swirl.
Mm-hmm.
Because it starts out, it's got a lot of in your face and that high acid. You swirl it down, you can get to the exact level you want. Because once you swirl it, once you decant or swirl something down, you can't put that life back in.
No.
This one starts at a nice high point. You can bring it down to what works. I can see this with like a pasta with cream sauce. I can see it with chicken.
I was actually just strange that you mentioned that, because for me it's getting a little bit of a creamy texture in the mouth.
Yeah, it's so elegant and so smooth. Part of that is the malolactic in barrel that they're holding on to before they bottle it, just to because that's the whole idea of that malolactic, is to bring that roundness out and soften it. Plus the old vines, the character is just incredible.
Do we have an idea of how old the vines are?
Yeah, somewhere I have this in there.
It's
20 to 30
30?
years in goblet as well. The goblet adds extra tension to the vine and stresses them out even further, because they're having to hold up against all the weather influences. And you'll drive through Ribera and you'll see a goblet vineyard, and suddenly you'll see an empty spot or a little tiny shoot, meaning that plant finally just gave up and they had to replace it.
After 100 years or so?
Yeah. And he goes, there are a few goblet vines in California. I think Buckland has some. And
The Old Hill Vineyard.
oh my God, that's a great wine.
That's a crazy vineyard too.
Yeah.
It's a crazy vineyard. It looks a little like that. But we'll talk about that in a different session.
Different session.